Good morning. I'm very sleepy. It's very early and I have to head to work soon, but I figured I've been thinking about filming for like 5 or 6 days now, and every day something comes up or something goes wrong or something unexpected happens, and then I don't end up having time, and then I get grumpy because I wanted to film and I didn't film. Sometimes I'm grumpy and that's why I don't film, which is a stupid situation. In case you're new here or you haven't watched any of my other videos, my name is Marina and I am a storytelling teacher and an aspiring author and many other things that I do because for some reason I have too many jobs. But I guess the storytelling teacher is the most relevant one to this channel. And in terms of projects, I finished submitting and querying my first novel a few weeks ago, and now I'm trying to work on a new project. I decided to call it Project Toxic because it is about a toxic friendship between two young women, and I think that is a way more enticing name than Project Friends, which is what it was called before. And I had been scribbling a couple of things here and there on this project, but I didn't really start it seriously until early February. Yeah. And my goal, because I don't want to take too long to write the first draft, because I feel like then it drags a bit and it takes, if it takes too much time, I think I start getting bored of it and then I get detached and then I never finish it, and I don't want that to happen with this one. In fact, I don't want that to happen with any of my projects ever again. So what I'm trying to do is to finish it in 3 months. The first draft, not the whole book, because that would be a pretty bad quality book. I'm sure some people can do it. I don't think I'm at that stage just yet. I think I need to get the first draft out of my system quickly and then spend as much time as necessary. Hopefully not 10 years or too many years. The first one took me too many years. Anyway, I'm rambling and I really have to have breakfast and go. I'm quite happy so far with how it's going with this draft, actually, because I don't have much time at the moment and I'm about to be a lot more busy because my students are about to submit their first assignments of the semester, so that's going to be a lot of assignments to correct because I have a ton of students this semester and it's going to be crazy, but that's okay. Because I knew that, I've been trying to build sort of a routine, because yeah, my life is a bit hectic in terms of work, so it varies a lot from like month to month, so I can't really have a proper routine that I always follow like religiously. So what I've been doing this last few weeks is trying to write every single day, with the exception of some weekends, because sometimes you just need to rest. I needed to rest. And also, if I'm treating writing like work, if I'm treating it in a very professional way, I think I should be able to have weekends off as well. But some weekends I do get inspired and I'm feeling it, and then I just grab the pen and write. So I've been doing about 10 minutes a day. I've been writing in the bus, I've been writing in like a break at work, I've been writing in every kind of silly moment where I just was able to. And I think the 10-minute time limit really removed a lot of the pressure attached to writing every day, because I think writing every day is really, really hard, and it's not usually my way of doing things, except for doing challenges like NaNoWriMo or stuff like that, which I now have personally renamed November, and I made a video about that. I'm gonna do that very YouTuber thing of like, watch my video about November. So today, if I manage to stop yapping, I'm going to try and leave the house early before work and go to a cafe for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, however long I take to drink a coffee, which could potentially be 2 hours because I'm very slow at drinking coffee. But I am going to take my notebook. I've been carrying this notebook and other notebooks before this one that I've already filled up, and that makes me very happy. So usually I just carry around this little guy, because if I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to write, I don't want to carry more weight than necessary. But today, because I am planning on going to that cafe, I'm also taking my tablet so that I can maybe write a bit more. This guy is super light, so it's not gonna matter that I take both. So I'm gonna have breakfast real quick and I'll keep you updated, and let's see how it goes. Just checking in to say that I have to get out soon because I have an appointment in less than an hour and it's a little bit far from here. And I've been trying to write. I wrote today at a cafe for just 20 minutes because I didn't have that much time before work. And then I came back home, I had lunch and I wrote a tiny bit more, but now I have to go again, which is my usual way that I write. It's very scattered across the day, or like most of the time if I write once a day, and it's usually not more than 10-20 minutes. So this is a little bit unusual because I figured if I'm doing a writing vlog, I should write. But I'm very aware that it's not very easy for most people, or at least it is not for me to write during the day because we have other obligations and things that we have to do, and also you don't always feel like writing, or you're not always in the mood for writing, or you're not always in the right headspace for writing. I still think it's important to try and push ourselves a little bit and do it even when you don't feel like it, because if you don't feel like it very often, you will never do it, I think, at the end of the day. And then I say this, but I find it quite hard. I say what I think I should do, but this is not what I do most of the time. I think actually filming videos about writing and about writing routines and writing challenges is helping me a lot, because I feel a lot more responsibility to write if I am saying to a camera that I am going to write. So that helps. I don't know, if you find yourself stuck, maybe open a YouTube channel. Don't mind all the notebooks on the background. It's actually what I came here to talk about right before I go. I have days and days with this current project that I'm working on, because I've mentioned it in previous videos, but it's not a super nice story to be in, actually, because like I said, it's about a toxic relationship between two characters, and it talks about, what do I say without spoiling anything? I think it's one of those that is more experience and character than plot. So what even would I say? And also the plot keeps changing because I'm a discovery writer and I keep going back and forth with the plot and with the storyline. So, but I have been feeling a little bit weird about it because it's just not a comfort story for me, or I don't think it would be for anyone. I hope that there are parts that are hopeful, and I hope that the overall message is hopeful, but it's just not the nicest world to be in, if that makes any sense. So a lot of the time I find myself not wanting to step into that world and explore that story, because it's kind of unpleasant and it's kind of painful, and I think a lot of really good stories are very unpleasant to read and possibly to write, but it makes it hard for me to find the motivation and the drive to write, to work on those stories. Something that's been helping me a lot actually is writing by hand. I don't know why, and I don't know why in particular I'm writing so there's two storylines, the flashback and the present. For some reason, I didn't plan this, but I find myself writing the flashbacks on the laptop or digitally on my tablet, and also writing the present storyline in a notebook by hand. And I don't understand why this is happening, but it is what it is at the moment. So what I figured I would do, if the next few days I keep feeling like a little bit hesitant to step into this story, I will grab all of the notebooks that I've written in for the present storyline. This is just one of them. I think I have this one, which is a pocket notebook. I have this one, which is a lot more chunky. This is the official project notebook for this book in particular. And then I have another one that I showed earlier this morning that I have currently in my backpack, and I don't want to get it out because I'm about to leave and I want to take it with me in case I get inspired in the bus or something like that. Because of the way I'm writing this, it turned out that I have no idea how many words I've written of the story that happens in the present. I do know how many I've written. Actually, I don't know right now, but I am able to check on Scrivener how many I've written in the flashback storyline. And what I want is for them to be quite balanced. I don't want one of them to take up a lot more space than the other one. So at the moment, because I don't want the one that I'm writing by hand to get out of hand, I would like to start typing it on the laptop and see how many words I have in that one. It's probably going to feel like I'm not really advancing in the story, but I think at this point I need a little bit of overview of how the story as a whole is going, because if there is a moment to course correct, it's now before I go even further.
into it. So now I really have to go. I think I'm speaking really fast because I don't want to be late and I wanted to finish telling you about this. But I'll see you later or maybe tomorrow because I'm planning on filming this throughout a few days. Hello. Please don't mind my terrible posture. I am sitting on the floor and it's been a pretty long day. It's a Saturday and we went to IKEA and it's been raining all day and we've set up a new, I don't know how you call it, like a piece of furniture for clothing that is not a closet, that has drawers, that thing. And there's been a lot of walking up and down and a lot of people over at IKEA, and IKEA is my favorite place in this whole universe. And something that makes it even more magical to me is that there's one almost everywhere. And it's like finding a cool, safe place no matter where you are. I guess there isn't an IKEA everywhere in the universe, but there's a lot of them everywhere, and it's just one of those places and one of those plans that makes me instantly happy. Like I legit wake up excited when I know that I'm planning on going to IKEA. And there's been times that I even just walk around on my own without any kind of purpose. I don't even buy anything. It's just a happy place for me. I don't know. I know a lot of people dread it, but I love it there. So full disclosure and update, I have not been writing in the last 3 days because I had a bit of an accumulation of appointments and chores and things that I needed to do. Also, I was having headaches, and honestly, all I wanted to do with every minute of my free time was play The Sims, and that's what I did. So yeah, it's one of those things, like, we're not always productive, are we? And it's one of those things that when somebody else says it, you're like, that's totally okay, you deserve to rest, and like you can't always be giving you 100%, but when you're the one doing it, it's like you feel bad about it, you feel guilty, you feel a little bit embarrassed. And I would prefer not to say it to a camera in a video, but it always makes me feel better when someone else that I'm watching says this kind of thing and shares that they're not doing things optimally, and that, I guess, you know what, that's not optimal, that's bullshit. I think that I'd scratch it, delete this. I think what's actually not optimal is to always be working without ever resting. And if you need like a whole week off from your writing, as much as you love your writing, take it. I feel like a lot of the time when I'm talking about writing in this channel, I am actually saying reasons why you shouldn't write when you're not up for it. So, I don't know if these are like writing tips or not writing tips. So do you know? I just went Spanish there. I don't know. I also don't think I'm gonna write tonight because it's past 9:30 and I'm very tired and I'm hungry, and all I want to do is have a shower, get in my jammies, and watch some TV show. And I think that's what I'm going to do. It's a Saturday and I don't feel like forcing myself to do things. Tomorrow I don't have to go to IKEA or set up any furniture, so I might actually hold myself more accountable than today and the day before and the day before that. I think it's been like 3 days. I think the last time I recorded was Wednesday, and it's Saturday now, so that's okay. It's fine. Nobody's been affected by this. Not even me. All right, I'll check in later or tomorrow. Hello. Sitting on the floor again, as usual. It seems like it's the only way to film videos, I think. It's the only valid way. If you film your videos sitting on a chair, what are you doing? I don't understand your ways. Nah, it's just because at the end of the day, in a lift house, there's only so many places where one can sit down to film a video, and that are always available, and that you can notice too much of the mess from there. You don't have to clean your whole house before starting to film. Because if I had to do that, I would never find the time to actually film. So today is a Sunday, and yesterday was a pretty full day. Not really that full in terms of like many amount of activities, I guess, but I think going to IKEA and then setting up furniture always like seems to take up more time than you initially think. And I did complain in that video that I hadn't been writing for the past few days, and that I was going to put an end to that cycle of complaints, and I was gonna actually that I was gonna actually sit down and write. Obviously I didn't do it last night because I was too tired, and today I've done all of the chores in the universe that have been great reason for avoidance. But actually now it's the first moment in a few days that I've been feeling like jumping back into the story, so that's what I'm going to do. It's actually a little bit late. It's not super late. It's like 7 p.m. or 7:30, but I still have a few more things to do to prepare for the week. I'd like to do a bit of meal prepping. I would like to do all right, that's all the excuses I got for today. Mopping. I wanted to mop. So because of that, and in order to make my resistance as small as possible, I'm going to do one of my 10-minute sprints. So I'm just going to set up a timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to write, and then if I feel like writing afterwards, I will continue. And if I don't, or if I finished at a good spot, like finish a chapter or a scene or whatever, I will stop there and I will go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Not that writing is not enjoying my Sunday, but you know how it goes. If you've ever tried to write a long project, there are times where all you want to do is write that project, and there are times that it feels like pulling teeth, and it's very, very difficult to actually make yourself write. Or maybe you do manage to write, but everything you write you find like very low quality, and it kind of, and you get in your head about it, and in the end, well, it's just made a bit difficult by yourself, by your own brain telling you stories that are not true, instead of focusing on the story that you should be working on, because that's the one you wanna create. So in order to avoid this avoidance narrative, we are going to go and sit down and do some writing work. Right, how did we go with this writing vlog? I think it was a little bit chaotic. I wouldn't call it a productive vlog. I think it was in fact a very like real life, realistic kind of thing. If I was going to choose a clickbaity title for the video, it would not be productive writing vlog. It would be more something along the lines of realistic, relatable writing vlog. because it was a week of working, it was a week of doctor's appointment, it was a week of like random other appointments, it was a week that I didn't feel particularly well health-wise or energy-wise. I was very tired. I don't know, it was just not a great week. But I guess it wasn't horrible. I guess I don't want to whine too much because nothing too bad happened. I was just a little bit off. But also, it wasn't the best week in the universe, and I thought it was I'm making it sound like I predicted this and I know it was going to happen, and I thought it was a good opportunity. But after I started and I realized that it wasn't my best bunch of writing days, you always get this feeling, or I always get this feeling of maybe I should just discard this vlog and try and film some of the time that things are working better. But then I thought, nah, it is what it is. It's just real life, and like I always say, this is not my job. Writing is not my job. Filming or like making YouTube videos is not my job. So this is just something that I do on top of other things. So there's gonna be weeks that things work out really well, and there's gonna be weeks that nothing works out the way it's supposed to. But yeah, even when nothing in particular goes horribly bad, I think there's just times where you just the writing doesn't happen. But it wasn't like an absolute mess or anything like that. I think there was really good things about it, and the main one was the realization that I have no idea where my story is at the moment. I think it's mainly because I've been doing this thing that I was telling you before, where I was writing the flashbacks on digital support and the present timeline on paper and like with pen and paper. And I think I definitely need to sit down at this point and type everything that I've written by hand and see if the two storylines are balanced. So just to assess what I have and what I have left to write. And I think actually that made me think that maybe that would be a good video to film next. I think it would be an interesting next chapter for the genesis of this story and how it's like I'm conceiving it. So I'm pretty sure that's the next video that I'm going to film, and if not the next one, the one after that, because that is definitely the next thing I'm going to do about this project. If you're still here listening to me ramble, thank you so much for following me in my writing adventures, and I'll see you next time. I think I've spent this whole vlog on the floor.